welcome to HISD News. I'm Sarah Osborne. Team HISD is celebrating after Houston voters overwhelmingly approved the district's $1.89 billion bond referendum. HISD staff, board trustees, and members of the community gathered at district headquarters on election night to watch the results come in. Once early voting numbers were released, it was pretty clear that voters came out in favor of the bond. Final result? 69% of voters approved of the plan, which would rebuild and renovate the majority of the district's high schools.
We have a lot of work in front of us. We want to build quality schools for all students, the high schools that everyone deserves. It doesn't matter what your zip code is, you deserve a facility to get a 21st century education.
Because to me, this says the City of Houston has a vote of confidence in our board, our superintendent, the faculty and staff here who do the hard and heavy lifting. It says that they are voting for the City of Houston's children.
HISD board members aren't the only ones celebrating and saying thanks to Houston voters. Four high school students held a pep rally on their campus to celebrate the passage of the HISD bond. The event featured the school's band, cheerleaders, and a balloon release. Inside the balloons, students placed handwritten thank you notes. FER has a big reason to give thanks. Under the bond, the school will receive a new $55 million campus. Now that the bond has passed, the real work begins. Superintendent Greer talked about the next steps at the district's monthly principals meeting on November 7th. At the gathering, Dr. Greer also took time out to thank the principals for their hard work and creativity to register voters and get them to the polls.
I can't ever recall a time in my career where I've been more proud, and it's really a humbling feeling when you think about how our city has responded to our needs to serve our young people here in HISD. To have the largest school bond in the history of Texas passed by 69% of the vote is phenomenal.
Greer went on to tell principals that the district has already begun looking for architects and design firms. Parents and community groups will also be a part of the planning and development process. Students and their parents got a closer look at some of HISD's magnet programs at a recent district-wide open house. It was standing room only on November 3rd as several thousand families gathered at Hattie Mae White to visit with representatives from different HISD campuses. In total, over 100 elementary, middle, and high schools with magnet programs were at the fair. Parents and students had a chance to gather information on a variety of programs, ranging from fine arts and STEM to medical science and even Mandarin Chinese.
Just look at the crowds here. I have never seen this much interest in HISD schools for both all levels, elementary, middle, and high, for Vanguard, for our STEM programs, for our performing and visual arts, all of our programs. Parents are clearly very excited, and they are here to find out all of their options.
Applications for all 113 HISD magnet programs are currently being accepted. They must be postmarked by January 11th in order to be considered in the first round. For more information and to download an application, visit houstonisd.org/magnet. Friends, family, and former students of one of the district's most beloved athletic directors recently gathered for a special event in his honor. HISD's Del Mar Stadium is now officially renamed the Del Mar Tusa Athletic Complex in honor of Joe Tusa. The name change took place during a special ceremony during last week's Reagan-Waltrip football game. Tusa and his wife were honored during halftime and were joined by several former football players that he coached while working at Reagan High School.
This particular stadium, my team at Reagan opened up this field in 1958. So there are a lot of emotions involved in tonight, and seeing Reagan and Waltrip. Of course, I was at both schools, so I'm just very proud and grateful.
Tusa was the district's longest-serving athletic director from 1965 to 1989. HISD has students that come from all over the world, and many times these students face special challenges in addition to learning English. On November 5th, members of HISD's multilingual department gathered at the Las Americas Newcomers School to discuss the challenges faced by the district's nearly 1,200 refugee students. Joining them was special guest Karen Tall, who is the former principal of a refugee school in Tel Aviv, Israel. Tall also won an Oscar in 2011 for a documentary on the school.
We are such a small world, and there is so many things that are common that I think that we should share our knowledge and our experience for doing a better world for children.
During the gathering, Tall and the principal of Las Americas discussed common issues they face when educating refugees, such as gender, culture, and family dynamics. HISD has selected its 2012 holiday greeting card, and the winner comes from the Sam Houston Math, Science, and Technology Center. Alexandra Lartigue was surprised to learn her artwork was chosen to be featured on the district's annual card. The senior at Sam Houston says her design was inspired by vibrant colors and a living room holiday setting.
I wanted to do a living room setting because hardly anyone does actually settings of Christmas. They always do objects or symbols to represent, but I wanted to do your surroundings of Christmas.
Alexandra and the 29 other holiday card student finalists were honored at a special reception at district headquarters on November 2nd. All received holiday greeting cards featuring their artwork to give to family and friends. Staff and community members can also purchase the greeting cards up until December 7th. Just go to HoustonISD.org for more information. Time now for the HISD Fast Fact of the Week. Compared to the 2007 bond, HISD's most recent bond passed by a better than 2-to-1 margin. According to the final results from Harris County, 69% of Houstonians voted in favor of the 2012 bond. That's it for this edition of HISD News. Be sure to connect with us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We leave you now with a look at all the ways HISD students and staff did their part to get out the vote this election. I'm Sarah Osborne, and I'll see you next week.
I spent the day in the shade of a tree, thinking how we best to spend this precious time that we've been given.
It's a right, and they need to understand what a right is.
I get to change the world with my one vote.
So hopefully everybody will go out and vote.
Not only should we educate our students, but we should educate the community, and educating the community in early voting is very important.
We want everybody to join us here to encourage people to vote and to vote early.
Everybody who's eligible to vote needs to vote.
It's very important to inform everybody about the issues involved in the bond.
We hope the citizens of Houston will look at all of the facts.
We're not saying vote for it, we're just saying vote early.
Vote early!
Vote the entire ballot, because we're the last thing on the ballot.
All the little things that mean you could do, all the little things that mean you could do together. All the little things that mean you could do, all the little things that mean you could do. All the little things that mean you could do, all the little things that mean you could do together. All the little things that mean you could do, all the little things that mean you could do.
I wanted the media to get a close look at the condition of our facilities. This building is 86 years old.
One of the things about FUR is we have never had science labs.
There comes a point where the demands of what we do outstrip the facilities that we have.
If you look at these hallways, they're so narrow when in between class changes. They do a wonderful job maintaining order and discipline here in a school that's just worn out and dated.
Vote early! Where's the red? Where's the white? Where's the blue?
All the little things that mean you could do, all the little things that mean you could do together. All the little things that mean you could do, all the little things that mean you could do. All the little things that mean you could do, all the little things that mean you could do together. All the little things that mean you could do, all the little things that mean you could do. All the little things that mean you could do, all the little things that mean you could do together. All the little things that mean you could do, all the little things that mean you could do.
I get to change the world with my